The question's looming for Oklahoma Sooners fans, and since it's becoming a little bit more prevalent, I kind of want to talk about it and just throw my thoughts out there. Is Jeff Lebby going to leave Oklahoma for Alabama and Nick Saban? But before we dive into it, please go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below about Jeff Lebby in Oklahoma. And Sooner fans, I think you're going to be surprised by what I'm about to say, what I'm about to tell you, because I feel like some of you guys really would like to see Jeff Lebby out. So there's been a lot of rumors circulating that Jeff Lebby has been in contention for the Alabama offensive coordinator job. And if we were to sit here and tell you that that's not true, then we would be bold-faced liars, because it really is true. Jeff Lebby is in contention for the offensive coordinator job. And Jeff Lebby will be in contention for offensive coordinator jobs for as long as he is at Oklahoma. And Jeff Lebby will be in contention for head coaching jobs as long as he's here in Norman. Because Jeff Lebby is an offensive mind that everybody's going to want. Because here's the deal. When you're an athletic director and your job's on the line, you have to make a splash. And there are very few defensive coordinators or defensive head coaches that you can grab that make a splash. But there's a lot of offensive coordinators out there that people would take as your head coach that might save your job. And Jeff Lebby's one of those guys. But in direct correlation with the Alabama job, why would Alabama not want Jeff Lebby? Why would they not want him? Because when you go look at some of the all-time recruits that Jeff Lebby has been able to grab, obviously the best recruit that he's been able to get, Jackson Arnold. Second best was Nick Evers. Two players at the most crucial position in football, quarterback. Then at third, it's Jaden Gibson. Then Luke Altmaier, Hudson Wolf, Jermichael Hasty. These are all players that were highly recruited players across college football that Jeff Lebby was able to go out there and grab against some of the best offensive coordinators and some of the best head coaches in the game. But we have heard that there has been some jobs that Jeff Lebby has turned down that are head coaching jobs. And I think Jay said it best the other day, but with Jay with Unfair Sports, so if you guys have not went and checked his podcast, please do. But he said it best. Jeff Lebby is probably waiting for the right job to open up. And for Jeff Lebby, it really doesn't make sense to take a lateral move just because he's at Oklahoma. If he goes to Alabama, the expectations there are a national championship. And Sooner fans, you guys might not like this, but right now the expectations for Oklahoma is just to get back into making a New Year's Six bowl, potentially getting back into the playoff conversation. For us, I think we're more so leaning fix the defense first. Because the offense will be there for OU, but fix the defense. So I think the expectations here at Oklahoma are lesser than the expectations that he would have at Alabama. And why would he want to leave Jackson Arnold and these guys that he had just recruited here? And I know some of you guys might say, oh, well, he'll take Jackson Arnold with him. What if Jackson Arnold doesn't want to go? Riddle me that. What if Jackson Arnold doesn't want to go? Because his girlfriend's here now. Peyton Bowen's girlfriend's here now. Why would they want to go somewhere else? And I get it. You'll say, well, it's Nick Saban. Nick Saban doesn't coach offense. It's the offensive coordinators. But who are some other offensive coordinators that Nick Saban and this Alabama team could be potentially looking at? Because I actually was looking at this a little bit earlier. And some names that they could be potentially chasing is Dan Mullen, for one. Dan Mullen was the head coach of Florida for the longest time, and then Mississippi State, and had Tim Tebow, which a lot of people love Tim Tebow. Another name would be Joe Brady. He was a part of that historic offense at LSU. He helped get Eric Gilbert and Coy Moore to LSU. I don't know if Coy Moore is still there. No, he is at Auburn. And I know Eric Gilbert, he is not there. I think he's still in the transfer portal. So it'd be interesting to see where that previous 5-star tight end ends up. And then you've got Mark Whipple, who spent some time at Pitt and spent a year at Nebraska. So that'll be interesting to see if maybe they try to go after him. But I think a name that nobody is really talking about right now, and they should be talking about, is Phil Longo. Phil Longo spent some time with Jeff Lebby and Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. He was the primary recruiter in getting Matt Corral to Ole Miss. He also recruited Drake May to North Carolina. Why do I say that's important? Because there were a lot of rumors circulating Drake May to Alabama at the beginning of the season. Or at the beginning of the transfer portal season. And ultimately, Drake May announced that he was staying at North Carolina. But what happens if Phil Longo leaves North Carolina, maybe brings a couple staff members with him to Alabama? Would Drake May potentially consider leaving North Carolina and coming to Alabama? Something you got to think about. Because when you look at the Oklahoma Sooners, they were number 13. They were still behind Alabama by 2 spots. And you look at North Carolina, they were number 19 this year in total offense, in the offensive rankings. And that's with somewhat lesser talent than what Alabama had. So imagine plugging in Phil Longo and Drake May into an Alabama team where you've got all the tools at your disposal. Everything you could want. It would be something to think about. It's something that I think Alabama fans and Nick Saban would at least have to consider. So go ahead, jump down in the comments below. Let me know what you all are thinking about the Oklahoma Sooners and Jeff Lebby. Do you think the Oklahoma Sooners will be able to retain him? Additionally, do you think Jeff Lebby even wants to leave Oklahoma?